This is crazy. Donald Trump and Tulsi Gabbard want to arrest former President Barack Obama. I'm not joking. Neither is Trump and neither is Tulsi. For those that don't know, Tulsi is currently the leader of the CIA, head of the CIA if I'm not mistaken, and possibly the biggest grifter in politics. She switched up big time. And if you were the kind of person who knows how big of a red flag populist rhetoric just meant to make, like, the lowest common denominator happy, if you recognize that as a red flag, then you'll probably recognize that Tulsi was a grifter the whole time. She went from being progressive, running as a Democrat, to solely hardcore entrenched in the Republican Party and hardcore MAGA. Because she was always just a populist. She was always just trying to get votes, right? And now she is the head of one of our agencies of intelligence, our intelligence agencies. She has a shitload of power now. And Donald Trump basically has unmitigated power. Yeah, she also has an immense amount of ties to Russia. Keep that in mind, because it'll be relevant in this story. You see, Donald Trump worked with Russia in 2016 to hack the DNC, and on top of that, to spread information online, particularly misinformation, that was meant to help Trump and hurt the Democrats. This was found through rigorous investigation and even came out in confessions in court when several of Trump's former cabinet went to prison because they worked in his campaign and colluded with Russia illegally to help him get elected. All that could not be found was that Trump himself was in the know or made orders for his campaign to engage in this illegal activity. Trump and the Republicans were desperate to bury this story. They did not want it to be clear to every American that Trump was working with Russia to make the Democrats look bad. It just wasn't, it's not what you want to happen if you're Donald Trump. You want it to look like it was just, their bad side showing itself. And so Donald Trump coined the term Russiagate, or the Russiagate hoax, I should say. And he has consistently called it the Russiagate hoax for nearly a decade now. And what's so infuriating about that is not only do the court documents all exist from when Trump's former cohorts went to prison, all their trial and everything they confessed to, every bit of evidence that they did collude with Russia. Not only is it available in the form of documentation, but it aired on TV. We can go back and watch these trials. You can read the Mueller report. All these things exist, right? And Trump has done a very good job of burying it. However, in order to distract people from this Epstein file thing that everyone's pissed at Trump about, Trump is now upping the ante on his crazy bullshit he's pulling to just try and get people to no longer pay attention. Now he's claiming that Obama was behind what he claims to be illegal Russiagate hoax, that it was sedition, and Tulsi Gabbard and Trump fully seriously are claiming they are going to send Obama to prison. In fact, let me see if I can bring up Trump's Truth Social. He truthed something on Truth Social, because that's what it's called. It's called truthing when you post something on there. I'm sure he posts just a ridiculous amount, so it might take a moment of scrolling. 8 hours ago. Yep, he's truthing all day. All day and all night, he be truthing. Is this what I'm thinking of? No, it's not it. Where is it? Where is it, Trump? Where is it? Is it under media? This is literally just Twitter, isn't it? This is literally just Twitter, but before Elon bought it. Wait, I have to make an account or sign in? Are you serious? Are you serious? Where do I find this post? Where do I find it? Is this it? No. Dang. Man, this site sucks, bro. The videos don't start playing till you click
We
and
are
open the
6
thing
months.
in full screen. It's so unhinged. This site is terribly designed. Oh my lord. Okay, yeah, here we go. We're getting into the stuff
that doesn't just...
the stuff that's relevant. Here's a clip of Tulsi Gabbard that Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that you guys might find interesting. She is just as cringe as she was back during the primaries.
Just affect Democrats or Republicans. It's not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue with such significant impact that it should concern every American because it has to do with the fabric and integrity of our democratic republic.
No, do not show notifications, truthsocial.com. You do not have permission to do that. So what's wild to me is, not only is this Russiagate thing completely real, like verifiably completely real, but they're trying to use the idea of imprisoning political dissonance, political adversaries, in order to hide Trump's blatant association with a sex trafficking ring. How fucked is America right now that that's where we're at? The president, to cover up his involvement with a sex trafficker, is looking at sending his a former president to prison for presiding over his getting exposed for a crime. Like, just dictatorship. It's dictatorship. That's all this is. Take it away, Tulsi.
That we had a situation here where in the months leading up to the 2016 election, the intelligence community assessed, and this is what the documents detail, the intelligence community assessed essentially Russia doesn't have the tools, the capability, or the intent to try to change the outcome of the U.S. presidential election.
Russia doesn't have the tools or capability to try to affect the outcome of the presidential election, so it was sedition to not only investigate, but to convict on that basis. There were literal convictions. Like, Trump's cronies went to prison. They were found so guilty. This is like, well, now we make the rules, and we say they were never guilty. That's the game they're playing right now. And now you're guilty for saying they were guilty, because we make the rules now.
Donald Trump pulls off a historic victory against Hillary Clinton in November of 2016. Even in the days...
Historic victory? Losing the popular vote is not a very historic victory.
After that election,
I guess there's some things about it that are historic, sure.
Intelligence community continued their consistent assessment that reflected the same thing in the months leading up to the election. All of a sudden, in the early days of December, there was a president's daily brief that was drafted. This is put together by the different elements of the intelligence community that reflected that same assessment. Russia did not try to hack the election, in essence. That PDB, that document...
She's lying here, by the way. Very subtly, by the way. It's true. Russia, as far as we know, did not try to hack the election. A lot of people mix up Russia hacked the DNC and Russia hacked the election. A lot of people on the right claim the Democrats say that Russia hacked the election and changed the votes, or they leaked... Like, no. They hacked the DNC, not the same thing as the election. She's technically saying a truth right now, but it's not in response to anything anyone or any of the court cases that have been long since settled determined. She's just lying right now, but very slyly. It's a very creative way of lying.
Was pulled hours before it was supposed to be published for the president to see that following morning. That document was never published until we released it yesterday. One day later, President Obama calls a meeting of his National Security Council, his top officials, to be held on what they called a sensitive topic. And the results of that meeting, which we released yesterday, and these over 100 documents that talk about in detail how President Obama and his team, he directed a manufactured piece of intelligence that detailed not if, but how Russia tried to influence the outcome.
So yeah, she is more or less trying to claim that Trump getting in trouble with the DOJ under Obama was Obama committing sedition. Mind you, not only has the Supreme Court determined Trump is immune to all crimes while committed in office because they're considered official acts, now we're simultaneously like, by the way, we need to go back and arrest Obama for this. You know, it's like, okay. All right. I see how things are. Does anyone have the a link to the post he made that was AI? Let me see if I can find it. Trump, AI, Obama. Let me see if I can find it. Oh my god, New York Times. Oh, the worst outlet. Why is it always at the top with their paywalling? Ah, Los Angeles Times paywalls too. ABC News, are you gonna save me? All news will be paywalled. This story isn't even about what I searched. I love that. Every story that's about what you search that comes up on Google, paywalled. And then it just has a list of stories that are vaguely related to what you search that aren't. Oh my god, I fucking hate. I hate this era of the internet we're in. Looks like YouTube's gonna come in clutch on this one. It seems like Fox 11 Los Angeles actually has the video that I was trying to find.
And smiles.
Trump shared this on Truth Social. This is what I was looking for. This is an AI-generated
The post
video.
comes after the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, accused the Obama administration of a treasonous conspiracy to undermine Trump's 2016 election win. Gabbard released over 100 pages of documents alleging attempts to suppress intelligence and promote claims of Russian interference. She's now calling for federal investigations and prosecutions, here warning in her words that democracy is at stake. Democrats have dismissed her claims as baseless and politically motivated. Now, remember that for years, presidents refused to even criticize their successors. But now you got one posting a video of him being arrested. Critics say the timing is a distraction from controversies surrounding Trump, including his alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein. President Obama's office has not commented on the video or the allegations.
And in the campaigning, Democrats would say...
He has now, though. He actually has. And that's what we're going to be getting into now. Obama has now responded. And it's going to be interesting. Let's find out what's going on with Obama's response.
Trump stooping to an ugly new low, even for him. He's making a claim that will be heard the world over, reviving an old and familiar and rather tired tactic of accusing a perceived political enemy of treason. Only this time, the subject was his first-term predecessor, former President Barack Obama.
The leader of the gang was President Obama. He's guilty. It's not a question, I like to say, let's give it time. It's there. He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think
treason.
Of. They tried to steal the election.
Trump committed treason, and so now he accuses Obama of treason. And on the same coin, he's doing it to distract people from his association with a sex trafficker.
He made that baseless, unsubstantiated, rather ludicrous accusation today in the Oval Office. It follows baseless, unsubstantiated claims from his director.
God, she looks like a supervillain, Like, she the more time that passes, the more that you see her, like, she's always dressed in all black, and she's got, like, the jet black hair with the one white stripe. Like, she's a supervillain. Like, in a sci-fi show, she would be the villain. Like, she's got Cersei Lannister energy. Like, she's gonna blow up half of Washington if she gets pissed off with fucking wildfire, like out of Game of Thrones. Spoilers for Game of Thrones, by the way. A city gets partially blown up with wildfire at some point. Show ruined.
Of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard said that President Obama's officials engaged in a, quote, seditious conspiracy and hid evidence that Russia did not interfere in the 2016 election. Donald Trump's claims today, an accusation of a crime that is punishable by death, so outrageous that they drew this rare rebuke from President Barack Obama's office. It reads, quote, "Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. These findings were affirmed in a 2020 report by the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee, led by then Chairman Marco Rubio."
Remember, no one's claiming that the Russians hacked the election.
The very same Marco Rubio, little Marco to Donald, who currently serves as Trump's Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. His report concluded that Russia conducted an influence campaign in 2016 to do this, quote, "harm the Clinton campaign, tarnish an expected Clinton presidential administration, help the Trump campaign after Trump became the presumptive Republican nominee, and undermine the U.S. democratic process."
That is what was found by the DOJ.
That conclusion was further bolstered earlier this month when Donald Trump's current CIA director, a man named John Ratcliffe, released a review that, as NBC News points out, quote, "did not refute the findings of the intelligence assessment that Russia sought to interfere in the election." Now, as for these wild and erratic and unfounded attempts by Tulsi Gabbard and Donald Trump to rewrite their own version of history and provide a distraction from the Jeffrey Epstein debacle that has completely engulfed Donald Trump and his White House, they are claiming that the Obama administration concealed evidence that Russia did not try to manipulate votes. But that's Orwellian doublespeak. It's not what Obama's officials ever claimed in the first instance. It was always about an influence campaign. Here was President Obama explaining it on
That's a really good way of putting it. Tulsi Gabbard is engaging in Orwellian doublespeak. I love that. I struggled to figure out exactly what to describe her kind of lying, but as weird as it may sound, that's exactly what it was. Doublespeak.
December 16th, 2016.
I can assure the public that there was not the kind of tampering with the voting process that was of concern and will continue to be of concern going forward, that the votes that were cast were counted. They were counted appropriately. We have not seen evidence of machines being tampered with. So that assurance I can provide.
That is where we start the hour with ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee.
Man, it is wild to see how desperate Trump is to cover this story up with the Epstein files stuff. He wants to get people's attention on anything. Even if people are talking about how much of a dictator he's being, that's preferable to them talking about him not delivering on the Epstein files. I hope that we're able to stick to this point. This is clearly one of Trump's biggest weaknesses, even among his own supporters, and we can never let it go. Never let Trump and the Epstein files fall to the back of your memory. In perpetuity, you need to keep that on hand whenever you're arguing with a Trump supporter. And you need to keep situations like this, how much Trump tried to hide it. It's not just that Trump refused to let go of the Epstein files, it's that he did everything possible to distract people from it because he didn't want people talking about them. And that's what's the most suspicious. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, enjoyable, or educational in any way whatsoever, then please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. Whether you're watching live or after the fact when this goes up as its own segment, make sure that you support the stream by leaving a like and a comment. It's totally free, and it helps immensely by boosting the channel and the algorithm and helping my stuff get seen by new people. Be a liker, not a lurker. And of course, if you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications, so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos in the future. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, be sure to follow my social medias linked down below in the description, particularly my fan Discord, as that's the main hub of my community and fan base. And on top of that, I host gaming events, call-in streams, or watch parties there every week on Fridays, so make sure you get there if you don't want to miss anything. And finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a subscription to someone else on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merch, the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you all so much for watching, as always, and have a good one.